Hello friends, and welcome to the video. So today we're going to continue the direct path, the user guide by Greg Goode. We're in the middle of the mind now, and we saw 2 videos ago how there is no difference. We can't see any difference between a thought, color, sensation, perception, and an emotion. They're all just arising in awareness, and there's no labels to say that they are separate things. Then last video we saw how we can't have more than one thing happening at once. It's really more that rather than many things are happening at once, it's that there's one thing happening that tells us that it's many things happening at once, like in a film or something. You know, it's just a film playing. You think there's all separate people, but no, it's just a screen and the light. It's all one thing. Or like in a dream, it's all your awareness. Now, today we're going to look at the mental structures. So we imagine that the mind has different parts inside it. Now, we did look at whether consciousness can contain something earlier on when we were looking at whether a brain could contain consciousness or a body could contain consciousness. And we saw that because there is nothing physical there, that they are just something arising in awareness. It's colors and textures and things like that. This color can't contain awareness. Awareness is what things appear to. So it's the thing that knows things. It can't be put in a bag and held inside a color. And now we're looking at whether the mind has different containers in it. So in psychology, or maybe popular psychology, you have the idea of the subconscious, and you have the memory, and even in other traditions, like in Advaita Vedānta, classical Advaita Vedānta, you have all this set out. You have a part where the karma's held, and you have your memories held in one part, and your tendencies in another. So they're all contained, like your consciousness. Your mind is full of little bags, and each bag contains certain things. And so when you want to remember something, you rummage around in that bag. Now, so we're working towards non-duality. And non-duality, I think it occurred to me from the last video that some people don't realize that it actually means non-duality. That we will eventually we'll come to the conclusion that it's all, there's no 2, okay, or 3, 4, 5, etc. It's just one, and even one is it's a word, so that restricts it, because if there's one, it has a limit. So we can't even say it's one. So, and this is another thing along those lines. I think a lot of people doing non-dual inquiry, they expect to be able to keep certain things like the subconscious, but in this direct path, we are just looking what's directly available to us. And the idea that you have a subconscious where things are hidden, but it's not only like you feel vulnerable and isolated because you're separate from the world, but there's parts of you that are separate and hidden. And we all know that the subconscious is what causes our problems. That's where all of the trauma lies, and the things that's hidden that expresses itself in our awful behavior or our depressed state, etc. So, although it does, it's very useful, psychology's come up with these ideas and they're used to help people, then that's fine. But it doesn't mean that it's literally true. And in this direct inquiry approach, we see that, in fact, believing that there are parts of you, your very self, that are kind of hidden from you and kind of against you in some degree, it causes problems, certain suffering. So we're going to look at whether there is the subconscious. The subconscious is one of many mental structures, but we're going to look at this one. So the idea is you have to think of something that you've forgotten, or something you have struggle remembering. And then in my case, I actually, because I'm an English teacher, my whole day is about people not remembering things and me telling them, and they, oh yes, is that. I see it all the time. Things appearing from people's subconsciouses, and me too. There's sometimes I come across a word that I don't know. I do a lot of translation with the students, and they tell me, they translate it in a way that I don't know a certain word, and I say, I don't know that word. What does that word mean? And for example, a few weeks ago, there was one that meant stuff at the supermarket that you don't want to waste, or that they are going to waste. And I still don't even know if I remember it. They tell me it and I forget it, and they tell me and I forget it again. So we're going to do this. We're going to look at this thought that we can't remember. And apparently right now it's in the subconscious, because all thoughts that you can't remember are in the subconscious, or all thoughts that aren't with you at the moment, or all events as well. They're not with you at the moment, they're in the subconscious. So you see if you can just wait, and then it comes up, it appears, and I think I'm going to jump out on a limb, and I think the word is desperdithia. It could be the word that I'm supposed to be remembering. And then I've got it, and I'm actually thinking of it now. So you think of the thing that you've now remembered, and then let it pass, let it sink into the subconscious. It will eventually. It's not going to be with you forever, but other things will cover it, or other things will come up. Now it's disappeared. Now, when you were looking at when it was in the subconscious, the word, or the thing that you were trying to remember, the name of a person, or maybe a place you visited, the number of a street, the number of a house, or something. Could you see that there was in kind of some limited space inside your head? Of course, we can't access the subconscious directly because it's the subconscious. But we can see how things behave when they come out of it and go back into it. So, could you see if there was anything hidden as kind of a limited structure inside the brain, inside your mind? And then in step 2, when it came out, did you see it coming out of something? You might have seen it as slowly coming out. It half came out and then more came out, like, oh, I know it begins with despert, and it's a bit like perdithia, despert, and maybe it comes out like that, like a fish coming out of water. And if that's the case, maybe you don't, maybe it just appears to you in your awareness. But if it does come out, then that is just a thought. It's that you're labeling on the experience. You don't know that is the subconscious is coming out of. If you really need to demonstrate that it's the subconscious, you'd need to know that it's the subconscious, and what you're doing is you're labeling it after the fact. You're naming it as being that came out of the subconscious, but that's just a thought. That's just an action of naming something. And then when it went back, when it disappeared, did it go into the subconscious? Did it slip away, kind of vanish bit by bit, jump back into the pond, or not? Now, so I imagine that you didn't experience any subconscious. You saw the thing appearing in awareness and then dissolving or disappearing. Now, the question comes up, okay, so yes, we can't find the subconscious. It's subconscious anyway. But I've been saying that all these things come out of awareness, and they exist in awareness, then they go back into awareness. The whole, series of videos I've been saying something like this. But as we progress, we have to let go of the ideas that took us this far, that were useful for getting over certain blocks. Now is the time that we slowly let go of those as well. So when the the awareness isn't like a lake where things come out of, they manifest themselves out of, and then they go back into this awareness. The witnessing awareness is always present when you know something. When you see something, it's the witness, it's the subject. It's not something that can be in any way, can contain anything, or can be limited in a container. So it can't be split up behind the scenes. It is just that observes things. It's that to which everything is presented. There was one definition of, I think about Arindam Chakrabarti, of consciousness is the consciousness to which is that which everything objects to. So everything is an object to consciousness. If you actually made consciousness into something that things arose out of and back into, it would be another object, and therefore not the eternal subject, which can never be found. Whenever we have an experience, we feel that there is a seer and a seen, and we always feel that we're on the side of the seer. Now, that's what we are. We are this witness awareness. At the moment, we're still with the witness awareness. We will drop it eventually. But just every time anything is known, it is known by the witness awareness. It isn't something that can contain things. It isn't something that things can come out of. If a camera sees something, doesn't mean it came out of the camera. It's just that which always must be present when there is any knowing of anything, observing, noticing, anything like that. Right, so no subconscious. You might have to do this experiment a few times until you can actually feel what's going on with your thoughts. How, when a thought appears, how does it appear? You can do it during meditation. And then when it subsides, how does it subside? Does it go into a hidden container in your mind? Or is it just no longer witnessed? So there we go. I hope that was interesting. Next week we're going to start getting serious. So we're going to start breaking down the idea of the doer and the chooser. And this can be the real thing that you really feel you are. So at the end of the day, at the end of everything, you're not the mind, you're not the body, but you're this intelligence that chooses that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to try to meditate, I'm going to keep my focus on the mantra or on my breath. I'm the thing doing that. That's me. Now we're going to look at that, and we're also going to look at to see if you are the doer. And we're really getting towards the end of this exploration. Well, not really, but it's going to be quite a few more videos. But yes, so here we're going to get really quite serious. When you're going to start feeling like you are, it's just what is happening rather than you are this separate person that things, well, in the world, basically. So I hope that was interesting. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.